So after recharging for a few hours on the ground, I was ready to take off again. And the strange thing about this Medulin airport is it does not have its own radio frequency. I was required to call the Pula airport nearby, but I couldn't reach them because of the lowness of my altitude, and apparently my radio wasn't strong enough. So I took off and I immediately contacted them, and they asked me to orbit south of the airport until they could clear me to pass through their airspace. So I circled here for a while, patiently waiting to be cleared to fly through. Finally, they gave me permission to cross through their airspace, flying over the scenic town of Pula and its port, and then coming along to very scenic coastline, the Briuni Islands, which is a national park just offshore, another set of beautiful islands. Here you can see the Pula airport in the background, and the Briuni Islands, as I said, national park. This is a bit of a time lapse going up the coast, and it really looks like a long way to get home. Here I am cruising up the Istria Peninsula coast. A bit hazy, but still beautiful out there. A lot of islands and some cumulus developments inland. Got all my navigation aids here. Whoops, off course a little bit. More to the right. Just smooth sailing at 4,000 feet. So finally reaching the Slovenian border, flying over the Slovenia's only port, Koper, and I was in contact with the airport at Portorož, and they asked me to fly directly out over the sea to this waypoint way out in the Gulf of Trieste there, and I just bravely made this crossing, knowing that I was always within gliding range, even if my motor stopped. Here you can see my distant shoreline on the Italian side. Yeah, it's a bit of a funny feeling flying over the sea in an airplane that I built myself, but I had a flotation device, bright orange, and other emergency supplies. So even if I landed in the water, it would be warm, and I shouldn't have any problems. But I was always within gliding range of the land, so I really didn't worry too much. Electric motors are so reliable compared to piston engines. You never know when a piston engine is going to have a problem, so it's not really very stressful when you're depending on an electric motor, even to get you back to shore. And my landfall was near this town of Grado, Italy. Very interesting coastline with these rivers coming down from the Alps, joining the Adriatic. Very interesting shoreline. Lots of farming going on in this part of Italy, with looks like lots of fresh water coming down out of the Alps and these rivers. Next sight to see was the airport of Trieste, which I passed by without any problems on my way up north to my home base of Osoppo. This is a time lapse over Palma Nova, interesting circular city. So this flight was made primarily on the solar power. Batteries were used for the climbing up, and I got home with batteries pretty much at 50% mark, so I used half the battery pack. And as I said, during the day. I get more than enough sun from the solar power for just level flight. No problem. Home sweet home. Happy landings.